And welcome to In the 661 Youth Voices for Kern, where we talk about issues that are important to our community, but also particularly to the youth of our community. John Means and Diane Baez are with the Kern Community College District. Thanks for joining us both. We want to talk about a program that kind of puts kids, and I say kids, but really students, I should say young people, on a pathway to a career. So John, how did this program come about?
We were working with the California Endowment that already has a project in Lamont Auburn called Building Healthy Communities. And because of the work we're doing with the colleges and the high schools, asked us if we would develop a pathway working with the high schools and the community colleges for health career pathways.
Okay, and so where are we now? How does that program work? You can kind of give me an overview of how that works.
We're about 2 years in, and Diane is the project manager working with the high schools, the parents, specifically in rural areas, Lamont, Arvin, Delano, Wasco, Shafter, Lake Isabella, and letting them know that their students, their children, as high school freshmen can decide on a career in the health career field and start getting prerequisites that count for college credit while they're in high school, knowing that when they then come to college, they can cut off a year off of their college, reduce their costs, and earn a living wage by being in a health career.
Okay, so Diane, explain this to me, because my question first when I was thinking of this program is AP classes. It sounds like an advanced placement class. At least that's my recollection from high school, is there was kind of a pathway for students to take classes ahead of time and get college degree eligible classes out of the way, but it's more than that, you say. So why is it important to have a program like this in place, specifically in places like Arvin? You're talking about students who may not necessarily walking into high school know that they want to go to college, right?
Right, so a lot of what we're working with working with both the faculty, collaborating with industry in addition to several college partners and secondary partners is focusing on providing real world experiences at the high school level, or even then partnering with a local industry to provide them both healthcare experience, and not only that, but expose them to it, because not everyone wants to be a nurse, right? And our colleges in our current district have an array of different pathways and programs that students can then become more familiar with what's out there.
And I suspect you may have a lot of first generation
Yes.
college students, right, who hadn't even thought or put the thought in their mind process yet that they were going to go to college when they walked into high school. So that's, and they don't have that maybe thinking, if they're the first to go in their family, or at least in recent generations, didn't have that kind of thinking and that process and the infrastructure to go to college kind of from the outset in high school, right? So you guys are helping put that mindset in there and help putting the infrastructure in place. And
we're also providing several resources so that both parents, the communities are involved, so that everyone gets access to these programs, not just your academically prepared students, but you're at risk in addition to those students who are really not familiar with what they're going to do long term.
And John, this kind of came out of the idea and the notion that healthcare is growing in Kern County. It's one of the bigger industries, and also you wanted to make sure that, given that that industry is going to be there probably in the next 10, 20 years, that you're preparing people for jobs that will be there, A, and B, will have a good salary, good wage, right?
That's exactly correct. We started with bringing together healthcare industry folks from just all the hospitals, the clinics, et cetera, in Kern County, and said, where are the jobs? Where are they going to be 5 years from now? So that if we start students along the pathway, that they can get a job and that they can earn a living wage, at least $18, $19 an hour. So,
and so you guys are 2 years into the project, I think you said, John. So how is it going? I mean, where does it go from here? How does it expand, or which direction does it take moving forward?
Well, we have a number of classes that are in the high schools, and students taking those classes where they're getting college credit and they're getting prerequisites out of the way, and not only the nursing career classes that they take, but also classes that would be like psychology or history.
Your general courses.
Your general courses, okay.
So that started, and getting information out about those careers and what they can do. The hard part, that's the easy part. That still has a ways to go. The harder part is making sure that it really is for every student, and getting the high schools and the colleges to work together and align the curriculum so that it's easy for a high school student to go through 4 years and then go on to college.
And have you had success stories? Do you have some students that are already now kind of emerging and heading towards a degree in nursing or heading towards a radiology tech career?
So currently we're at a time frame in the project where we started maybe about 1.5 years ago, 2 years, and so the students haven't necessarily flowed through the entire
Right.
process. One of the things that I can say to add to the successes is that some of the partners that I'm working with at the local high schools are able to then embed industry certifications where the student is not only going to be workforce prepared, but also prepared to go on to the next level of education to receive an additional certification that, as John had mentioned, will allow them to make a living wage.
Why is it important for some of these rural areas? I mean, I heard Delano, Shafter, Wasco, Arvin. Why is it important to have these areas have this program?
You know, there's barriers to access, there's barriers to transportation. Unfortunately, the resources that are allocated to those specific areas are not always there. And the community is really, their literacy levels are low. And so coming in, educating not only the students, but the community, the parents, is key to reinforcing the students to drive into a career.
So how do those students find out about this program? Where would they go to get more information if they want to become one?
So we're doing an array of things. We're doing parent nights at the local high schools, and when I say local high schools, Arvin High, Miramonte, Golden Valley. Now working with Nueva High School also. But we're working on a marketing idea to really touch with the parents and get in touch with the community, whether it's utilizing the chamber at Arvin or some of the local community community agencies that they have, just to kind of spread the word. And also being a part of the Building Healthy Communities action team really helps.
Helps get the word out there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys both for telling us more about this program. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. And thank you for joining us on In the 661 Youth Voices for Kern.